Troops, welcome back to the Litanah Army. I'm Lit, and this is Fortnite Save the World. And what I want to check out today is 5 things to consider before buying Fortnite Save the World, or before, even getting involved or picking it up. Now, there's a lot of reasons people buy Fortnite Save the World. Everyone's got all different motives, but hopefully this will help you make an informed decision. Now, this is more aimed at new players, but for you experienced players out there, just tell us in the comments down below one thing that you wish you'd known before you started playing Save the World. One thing that you wish that you'd known before you'd actually pick the game up. Because what I want this to be as well, I want the comment section to kind of be so that new players can look down in the comments and kind of see what you guys think as well. Because as you know with these videos, they're as much your videos as they are mine. So I think us all working together to kind of help these new people coming into Fortnite Save the World, especially while it's got a reduced price on there at the minute, will be super, super helpful. So without further ado, let's jump in and look at 5 things to consider before you purchase Fortnite Save the World. Okay, so number 1, the first thing to consider is don't get this game just for the V-Bucks. Now, you can earn substantial V-Bucks if you like, almost, or a decent amount of V-Bucks just by playing the game. That's absolutely true, and a lot of people do that. So what you'll actually do is you'll have these daily quests. So if we just go over on here, I'll just show you over here. So if we go to quests and we go to quest log and we go to daily quests. Now, these can stack up. I've got 3 here because I've not done them in a few days, but you'll get 1 at a time. And if you look on here, usually these will give 50 V-Bucks. If they give 60, they'll normally take a little bit more time. So this one, look, I need to do 3 missions in Plankerton, then I get 60 V-Bucks. But you only get 1 of these a day. So we'll average this out so that you get 50 V-Bucks each day for doing this. Look, complete 3 play with others missions. Now, each one of those missions take you a maximum about 20 minutes. So you're looking about an hour to get those 50 V-Bucks. So 1 hour of game time a day to get 50 V-Bucks a day coming in nicely. Now, you can also get V-Bucks if we go into the map. You can sometimes pick up V-Bucks in missions like this one here. So this one's in Canny Valley. So I've had to go all the way up to Canny Valley to actually find this one, and this gives 35 V-Bucks. Now, sometimes it can give more. Sometimes you get 50, sometimes you get 100, but usually they're quite menial. In missions, you're looking at 25, 35. That's the kind of V-Bucks that you'll be looking at there. So let's round that up. So if we're being generous here, you're looking at about 100 V-Bucks a day, I would say. So on that theory alone, and that's a bit of luck involved as well, and playing every single day that month, then you may be looking at around 3,000 V-Bucks if you're lucky. That's top end. Now, that's in a month, but the game time on that's going to be quite a lot, because you're going to need, for the mission that you just saw, you're going to need about an hour. And this mission here, this retrieve the data mission, you're looking at about 15-20 minutes again, depending on the group you've got. So you're looking at about an hour and 20 minutes a day that you're going to need to be playing the game. Now, the only thing with that is if you're a new player and you're just buying the game for the V-Bucks, you can't get to this area to start with. This is not a starting area. This is actually quite a way into the game. This is power level 58. So you're going to have to have been playing the game, for at least, I would say, a month or 2 before you're going to get up here. Depends how much your game time is. If you want to get there in a, quick time, then you're gonna have to be playing this game a lot. By which time, this is where a lot of players transition over to the game because they enjoy the game, they love the game that much that they end up staying because they've really got into it now. They started off just trying to get these V-Bucks, but they realize there's a real game behind it. Those that don't want to do the grind, they're the ones you don't hear from them very often, so they kind of disappear into the ether. But it's not easy to get V-Bucks in this game. You're not going to easily farm a load of V-Bucks without putting quite a lot of time into the actual game. Which takes us on to number 2 then. So number 2 is that the game can be quite slow. It feels quite grindy at first, and sometimes because you don't know what to do with items, and the tutorials are getting better, they're improving, but because you don't know what to do with items, you end up with a lot of things in your bags, and progression feels a little bit slow. There is going to be grinding in this game. Now, if you've played a game such as, World of Warcraft, for example, or you've played Destiny 2, that's another great one, comparison, The Division, all games like this where there's quite a lot of grinding involved, then yeah, this game might actually suit you. If you're someone who prefers a more action-packed game, and there is a lot of action in this game, don't get me wrong, but if you're someone who actually prefers something that's got quick gratification in it, like Battle Royale, for example, where it's 100 people, you get a winner at the end, and then you get your rewards at the end, job done, that's probably, more that kind of, that's probably your kind of style. If you're someone who doesn't mind the grind, someone who's played those RPG-style games, then you probably will appreciate this a little bit more, and you'll probably stay a little bit longer. Just to give you an idea, if you look at the areas that you unlock, you start off in Stonewood, that takes you from power level 1 to power level 19. Then you go over to Plankerton after that. That's power level 15 to 46. After that, you go to Canny Valley, so that's power level 40 to 70. and this one as well, 70 to 100. Now, I've been playing the game since launch, and I'm only just approaching now power level 100. Now, I'm going exceptionally slow because I had a massive break from the game, probably about 8 months away from the game at one point, so I had a huge gap in there, and I do YouTube videos as well, which means really my game time is probably more similar to a casual player than it is to someone who's min-maxing or playing a lot more hardcore. But there is a lot of time, it's a huge time sink, this game, and it will at first feel pretty slow when you're not sure what your goals are. I mean, there's videos to watch out there. I mean, I've got a ton of new starter guides on there, and I know a lot of the other Fortnite Save the World YouTubers are. But get onto Reddit, find out who those people are, find out who the good ones are to watch, and, take it from there. But you need to really learn this game, and it's going to take up potentially a ton of time if you want to play it the right way. Which takes us on to number 3. The game's not really about scamming. There's a lot of scamming channels out there and trading channels, and because of that, a lot of people come into the game thinking this is about trading guns and socializing your SSDs and actually looking, to scam people. You see all these videos. You've got Twine Cheeks on there. You've got Fresh Panda Magical Gamer. You've got a ton of YouTubers out there, and power to them. They get a great amount of views. The community is actually pretty friendly if you go and speak to them. But the game's not really like that. If you're doing that, you're not really going to get the most out of the game. You're going to struggle when it comes to leveling up. I mean, to be fair, some of these guys play the game in the background as well, and they do a great job. I'm not condoning the scammer meta. It just doesn't really affect me in that sense. But, this is probably not the way to play the game. And if you're going to do this, it's probably not the way to do it. You're probably not going to get the most enjoyment that you possibly could out of the game. A lot of people come into the game with kind of like a misconception of how it actually is. This is a game that's about, leveling up heroes. It's about crafting your own weapons. It's about making great bases. And, there's a great community out there as well. The scammers do get quite a lot of they get quite a lot of hate, get quite a lot of negative feedback, but to be fair, they get more positive feedback than negative. The negative people tend to be a lot more passionate when they're speaking about it, and I myself included in the past, I've actually spoken out against the scammer kind of meta. It doesn't really bother me anymore. I think it's something that's dying off. However, just don't go into the game thinking that this is about trading guns and, seeing if you can get that 130 Gravedigger in your inventory, because it just it won't help you. I mean, you won't be able to use that gun to its full effectiveness anyway. It's a waste of time for the person crafting it. It's a waste of time, for whatever you trade it for. If you're going to trade it for something else, it's not really worth it. Everyone just loses out when that happens. I think Epic put the mechanics in so that you can trade guns in the way that people do now, just so that if you're in the heat of battle, someone's not brought a gun along, or they're using a pistol hero and they've not got a pistol, you can just drop one for your friend. They can pick that up and they can start using it. So that's the way it's meant to be used. However, people have used it in lots of different ways, some quite creative to be fair. But, that's not the way the game's meant to be played, and it's probably not the way to go into the game thinking. You're probably not going to have a great time if you're going into the game with that kind of mindset. Okay, so on to number 4 then. So just know, this game's not your typical RPG. It's not just a case of doing the mission, getting loot drops, and then adding them to a character, which is what you usually get in RPGs these days. This game is a lot more in-depth. Yeah, you've got power levels to think about, you've got your account level, you've got different heroes, you've got loadouts. There's an absolute wealth of things that you can do in this game that actually make it pretty diverse, which is pretty cool. I love that about this game, but it's one of those games that's going to be pretty hard to master. Now, saying that doesn't phase out the new player. I think the way that Epic have actually ramped up the learning curve is actually quite steady. Sometimes some people will say it's too steady because it does make the progression a little bit slow. However, it does mean that you will, by the time you get to the higher areas like Canny Valley, like Twine Peaks, you're going to completely understand the game and know what you're doing. Plus, as well, the community in Fortnite Save the World is great. So if you want a lot of help, you can come to our Discord, you can go onto Reddit, you can just go on YouTube in the comment section of any of the YouTubers, people like Aiden Harris, Demon Joe France, Tori X, Split Screen, all those people, and just basically ask them, David Dean, and just basically ask in the comment section questions on there, and most of the time, nearly all the time, you get really friendly feedback on there as well. And I really like that, especially in our Discord. We're looking at getting a new channel in there that GamerRun's going to help us with, where new players can just ask questions about the game, and it doesn't matter how small or how silly you might think the question is, people are really friendly in this community, and that's one of the reasons that I cover this game full time. It's just such a nice place to be. It has its moments, if you look in the wrong places, but overall the community is pretty solid. So on to our final section then, number 5. Patience really does pay in Fortnite Save the World. We don't get the updates as quick as, say, what Battle Royale do. You know, there's no like super fast hotfixes. One of the things with the explosions going through walls recently was something that got fixed really quick, and there was a bit of an outcry. It was only small, but there was a bit of an outcry from the Fortnite Save the World community about that. And it's kind of one of those things you've got to accept when coming into this game. This game's not at full release yet, like Battle Royale is. It's kind of at full release. I guess it is at full release. This game's not. So this, you know, this game's still classed as being in beta, and there's a lot of tests. You know, there's a lot of early access bugs and little things that go wrong in this game, and it's more complex in a sense than Battle Royale. There's more mechanics to it, so there are more things that can go wrong. It could be the balancing of guns. It could be husks not pathing right. There's just a whole host of things in Fortnite Save the World that make it pretty tricky. But even looking at the screen that you can see on your screen now, you know, we've got just recently got new menu screens. The updates are coming. You know, there's what's good is Epic Games have actually met with some streamers recently to actually speak about the future of the game. It's all looking really promising at the moment. We've got new weapons coming. Now, the current event isn't great. It does kind of feel a little bit thrown together, but the Fortnite Save the World community is pretty demanding, and I think it's because, you know, we're kind of looking at Battle Royale and we're seeing that grow and explode and have all this new stuff in it, so we're kind of feeling a little bit left out at times. However, I do feel that updates do come, and it is definitely worth waiting out. So whether you get the game later on and you want to wait for everything to be ironed out, or whether you want to jump in straight away, the game is ready to play, and you know what, it's pretty comfortable. We had some pretty bad frame drops recently, and Epic Games fixed that pretty darn quick. I think they were on that in, I would say, at least 48 hours, if not sooner. Okay, so look, you're not going to get rich off the V-Bucks. It can be a little bit slow. This game's not like your typical, you know, RPGs that are out there already. The game's not about trading or anything like that. You know, you need to come into the game in the right frame of mind. And also, as well, one thing just to note, patience really pays in this game. The updates take a lot longer than what they do in Battle Royale. This is not a game that it does get updated regularly, don't get me wrong. I still think it does. I've played games that get updated a lot less regular than what this does. Black Desert Online community, do you know, if anyone plays Black Desert, you will understand, you know, the pain here. They released like a load of updates in really quick succession, which was a bit frustrating. They changed a lot of the balancing in there, and then all of a sudden, you know, you hear nothing from them for like 6 months. The devs are really proactive compared to a lot of other games that I've played, you know, so it's one thing just to take into account. You got to remember the scale of this game, and it looks like this game's here to stay. There's a lot of back-end stuff. All right, there's a lot of hand-me-downs that we get, like the turrets that we were asking for a while. They are coming in. I saw Demon Joe France mentioning those. There's a lot of things that we are going to get, but it's just going to take a little bit of time. But you know what? It's just small steps in this game, but it is expanding, it is getting bigger, and you know what? Once it actually takes off, there's a huge potential for this to be even bigger than Battle Royale once it gets going, especially if it goes free to play. If Epic Games can get the model right, you know, for the money side of it, I think this game could be absolutely massive. I think they're just looking for ways to monetize it right now, and once they've got that, then, you know, I think they're actually away with this game and they'll be absolutely great. But guys, massive thanks for watching. If you're not part of the Litanah army already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will catch you on the next video. Take care now, guys.